Hey, what's going on, everyone? So I made a post asking what types of content or what types of questions do you guys have around cold outbound, specifically B2B outbound. And one of the questions that I got was, what types of automations are you currently using for outbound? So the two main automation tools that I've seen people in the space use are Zapier and Make. Make used to be called Integromat, if you're familiar. So I like Make better because it's way cheaper. You could do Make scenarios or Make counts operations, and the operations cost way less than they do on Zapier. So if you're on Zapier and you feel like you're spending a lot of money, there are tools out there that you can use. Make is my preferred one. I have no affiliation with Make. They don't sponsor me. Make, if you guys are watching this, sponsor me and I'll make more content about you guys. Anyways, so these are some of the triggers that I have. These are 5-6 automations that I'm currently running as of like today. I'm using all of these. So number one, when you're making an automation, you need to define exactly what you want to do. If it is a manual process that you are still doing, that doesn't mean you need to go and automate it right away. What you should do first, because it is more cost effective, is hiring a VA to do those things for you, because the cost of a VA is going to be less than the cost and time and whatever you invest into an automation. Most likely. This is assuming you are not like a tech wizard. If you are a tech wizard, then maybe you should just dive straight into the automation stuff. But me personally, I've gotten better at this, but I still know I'm not the best. So whenever I run into something, here, let's just look at this, right? So this is a time tracking tool I use called Clockify. So on Clockify, I'm keeping track of what I'm doing during my workday at what time, right? So if I'm repeatedly doing the same thing over and over, or if one of my teammates or my assistant or VA or whoever is doing the same thing over and over and over, there is high potential likelihood that it can be automated or at least made more efficient. So one, you have to define what you're doing and why you're doing it. Two, you have to probably hand it off to somebody first before you make the automation, because handing it off to someone and giving them standard operating procedure and instructions and all that really helps you define exactly what the task is and what the deliverables are and like how long it should take, this, that, or the other, right? So to tie all that together, if you think you have something that can be automated, number one, I would hire somebody to do the thing for you that's super repeatable, that you just feel like you're wasting time doing. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever, if it gets to the point where you've kind of really laid out the process and there's no hiccups and you're not going to be changing systems, you're not going to be going from Airtable to Monday to Close CRM to HubSpot to Salesforce, whatever. Like, there's no point of making an automation if you're not like married to the tools that you're using, right? So I've been using Close. I'm going to continue to use Close. So that's why I made a Close automation. So this is one of my automations. If you guys want me to dive deeper into all of these, let me know, but I'm only going to talk about this one. And this is super, super helpful for anyone who does outbound, not this one. This one. This took me a ton of time and effort and stuff to edit and all that. But essentially, how it works from my perspective as a cold email lead gen agency, I have all of my client inboxes forward to one master client inbox. That master client inbox forwards to a webhook. This webhook has a filter on it by sender. So for example, if I'm using Instantly, if I'm using Smart Lead, like I don't want that to go into my CRM because those are the tools that I'm using, right? Like Google emails, I don't want to go in there, whatever else. So like if you make this automation, you're going to improve it as time goes on. So like I created a filter. So like all my clients are filtered here because any email from them, I don't want to go to my CRM as a lead, right? So any tools that you use, like bank statement emails, whatever, newsletters, stuff like that, you don't want it to go into your CRM. So you need to filter that stuff out. So I have the webhook set up where if I get an email into that inbox, it forwards to this webhook and then it runs through this automation. So boom, first thing, it's going to check the filter. Is it not coming from Sly Leads? If it's coming from Sly Leads, that means that I don't want it in the CRM because it's coming from me. If it's coming from google.com, I don't want it. If it's coming from a no reply, I don't want it. If it's coming from a Calendly, I don't want it. So you're only going to learn that as time goes on, right? And then you could also do a subject line filter. You could do filters on anything you want, right? So let's say that your email inbox gets a lot of inbound stuff because it's like an old inbox that you're still using, that you don't necessarily want in there, and you only want responses to the emails that you send out by subject line. So you can take your subject lines from your outbound campaigns and put them in as a filter. So only forward stuff with this subject line from that outbound campaign. But that's not necessarily scalable because then anytime you change the copy, you're going to have to change this. You can automate that as well, but that's like getting too into the weeds for what I'm trying to do right now. So I use Close CRM. So essentially I forward the email to the webhook, and then it runs this automation. It checks the filter. Who did the email come from? What's the subject line? We're going to search my CRM, Close. You could search like any CRM. Make has pretty much every single CRM that you could think of. And if it doesn't have it, you could do a custom automation too. But I don't want to dive too deep into that. So I use Close CRM. So I'm going to search Close by the email address. So, hey, take the contact's email address, make it all lowercase because sometimes people have uppercase, lowercase, and I want it always to be uniform. So search my CRM for that email address. If that email address exists, we're going to grab the existing lead, get it, and then we're going to update the lead, and then we're going to send a Slack message. So you grab the lead, right? So boom, according to the search, you grab the lead ID if it's a match. If it's not a match, then you're going to create a lead. So this is what it looks like, right? So let's say it is a match, right? Because you want your follow-ups to not be new leads. You want your follow-ups to update the same contact over and over and over, right? So you're going to grab the lead, update the lead, and then send a Slack message. These are the things that I have on my automation right now. I want the lead ID. So this is how you match it in Close. I want the name. I want the status, right? So is this interested? Is this not interested? Is this out of office? Whatever. Boom, name, here's the email. And then I have a response thing that pushes into my CRM as well. So I take what the email text is and parse it out and put it into my CRM as well, because not all CRMs have live updating of conversations, right? So if you want to keep track of what the email conversation has been up until this point, then you have a single point of failure in your CRM if it doesn't connect to that email address, right? So I want the raw data in my CRM. So I have a custom field for email response. And then if it is an update, it pastes the whole thread, right? So then when I talk to a client about a lead, I literally have all of the entirety of the conversation, including every single email we sent before they responded. So that's why I have that. So if it is a matched lead by email address, then it grabs that lead and then updates the lead to include the new information that we have. And then it also sends a Slack message. So I have a Slack message channel called Respondees that looks like this. So yeah, it looks like this. If it's a new lead, it says new lead, and then go to the lead, and it just links the Close link of that prospect. Boom, go to the lead. Here's a follow-up. Here's a new lead, right? New lead, new lead. So out of these 4, 3 of them were new, and then 1 was a follow-up. And then this is good because I could be on my phone, on the road, wherever, and just hit the Close link to go into my CRM to respond to that lead from my CRM, even though I have so many different email accounts, right? I'm not logging into that individual email account that the reply came from because I'm already connected on Close. So that really expedites your response handling and response times. HubSpot released some data points some time ago. I don't know the validity of it, but people keep regurgitating it, so I'm assuming it's true. If you get back to a positive response within 15 minutes, you're 800% more likely to book a meeting. So this is imperative. If you are doing outbound and you are not replying to your leads within 15 minutes, you need to set something like this up. If you need help, let me know. LinkedIn only lets me do 10-minute videos, so I got to cut it short, guys. But essentially, if it's not a match, it creates the lead and then does the same Slack message.